One of my biggest achievements is my travel. But traveling is not always pretty. There were a lot of big and small misfortunes that happened in my one-year backpacking trip. Today, I'm going to talk about all these disasters. If you don't know me already, my name is Edith. I'm an IELTS instructor, a traveler, and a digital nomad. Welcome to my channel. The first misfortune that I had was the beginning of the trip, and I got bitten by a wild monkey. It was so terrifying, so I called half of the hospitals in Bali because I was so afraid of rabies, and I almost had a breakdown.
For those that are not familiar with rabies, it is a real disease. Earlier on, according to a media report, a 9-year-old boy from East Bali died 2 weeks after being bitten by his neighbor's pet dog. There was also BBC News reporting a Briton died from rabies after a cat bite in Morocco. Hundreds of animal bites occurred each day in Bali, and despite attempts to eradicate rabies on the island, the virus continues to infect victims, often young children who are particularly vulnerable.
Yes, you already know half of my story. I got bitten in Bali. At first, I didn't think much of it until I talked to my husband, and he seriously freaked out because rabies is a severe disease and you might experience insomnia, aggression, or hallucination. Long story short, I have to search around for hospitals and clinics for rabies shots. It was such an unpleasant experience because some medical staff, they didn't speak English, or some of the hospitals, they were out of stock. Some of them tried to scam me into paying this enormous fee for the rabies shots. Finally, I find this clinic right next to the monkey park. That was where I took my first 2 shots. But after that, I traveled to Malaysia. I still have to contact the local hospitals for 2 more shots.
Visiting hospitals is such a pain in foreign countries. Even though I had my insurance, the procedure to consult a doctor is always different, not to mention the language barriers. For those who know me well, you know I have a passion for diving, but I have never shared with you this incident we had experienced in Maldives. We arranged a few dives with some dive instructors on the island. The first few dives were such a blast. We went down to 30 meters, saw a lot of fish, and had a great time. So we decided to go on a night dive with them. That was when things went sideways. The instructors took us for a night dive, which was supposed to be really fun. But the current turned out to be really strong. It was like a washing machine, and we were uncontrollably carried by the currents. At some point, I got separated from the group and ended up in a cave-like structure being attacked by a lot of tiny fish. After I found my bearings, I had to crawl out of the cave and find the others. Remember, all these happened in a pitch-dark environment. We only had the dive lights to see the surroundings. Eventually, we had to abort the dives because the instructors apparently ignored our safety. Vocab List: Misfortunes, get bitten, breakdown, disease, media report, attempts, eradicate, infect, victims, vulnerable, procedure, freak out, hallucinations, aggression, insomnia, long story short, shot, out of stock, enormous, such a pain, consult a doctor, language barriers, incident, such a blast, things go sideways, turn out, uncontrollably, find one's bearings, pitch dark, abort, Ignore. I'm sure a lot of people have experienced this. For sure, it's a nerve-wracking and nail-biting experience.
Thinking of that morning, I needed to go to the airport, and I was supposed to take a morning bus in a city in Bosnia. A very kind-hearted local took me to the wrong bus stop, and I missed my bus. I'm not trying to blame the locals, but these things happen. So I immediately hopped on this bus to go to the airport, but I was too late. The gate was already closed because I was 15 minutes late. Missing my flight means that I have to travel to Serbia to catch the next one. But everything happens for a reason. Because of that, I met quite some new friends in Serbia later on.
As a lady traveling alone, I got hit on all the time. Even if I told them I had a boyfriend, they would just keep on harassing me. A host of volunteer work in Bosnia tried to take advantage of me. The driver I hitchhiked wanted to get with me.
Once I was in a park in Athens in Greece, and this lunatic came up to me and asked for the time. And that's when I realized he was flashing in front of me. And I was completely speechless. My brain was going through all the possible options. Should I run away? Or should I use my hiking poles to defend myself? What if he was stronger than me? So I fled. After that, I was kind of traumatized. I kept thinking about how I could have acted differently. I should have at least warned the people in the park. No one should have dealt with this kind of indecent exposure.
I'm not saying all men are crazy. No, I'm just saying as a solo female traveler, we have to always try to take care of ourselves and watch out for each other.
I actually struggled a lot before I made this video because I think it might scare you and stop you from experiencing life. But I feel compelled to tell you that traveling is not always pretty and magical. Sometimes things just don't go according to plan. It can get quite messy, but this is also part of the fun.
Vocab list: nerve-wracking, nail-biting, blame. These things happen. Hop on. Everything happens for a reason. Harass. Hit on. Take advantage of. Hitchhike. Get with me. Lunatic. Flash. Speechless. Defend. Flee. Traumatized. Deal with. Indecent exposure. Watch out. Feel compelled to do. Things don't always go according to plan.
That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please click the like button and subscribe. Remember the exercise down below. I'll see you next time. Cheers!